Well, we have a game on our hands. Fnatic, they respond with a win on Ascent. I'm your host, so I'm back here with Mimi, Sideshow, and Bren. They won the pistol.
They
did it!
Finally! They won a pistol round!
Yeah.
I mean, we were asking for it as well, but there was a real difference, I think, as well, even just before that. Round 12, it started to see, actually, Fnatic playing with a bit of fire in the belly, right? Actually trying to be proactive with the fights in these instances. And, you know, when they're down a man advantage, not actually giving up. They've remembered how to play Valorant. They remembered that they're a super team. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, especially being down a player, they only got 6 first bloods across the entire map, and yet they were still able to win this one out. That speaks to how good they were actually in finding positions to mid-round in the second half and work their way around while Loud were attempting. But they couldn't have done it without the pistol.
Yeah. No, it was still incredibly close here. But we asked who is the player who's going to step up, help this Fnatic team rally, because they seem to always be able to pick themselves back up after these ridiculous map 1 losses. And here it was Leo, who is excellent with a lot of clutches, with consistent value from his Sylvie utility. But it also came from kind of an unlikely source. Boaster was actually having such a good game there. He had a couple huge individual moments. His Odin actually had some really cool, unique stuff, using spam to support his teammates on executes, killing Cowanzine back through walls, and also he's just the fun presence. He's bringing some energy back into this Fnatic squad.
He twerked on them, guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's more than energy. That's a dump truck he's been shaking up there. I mean, he's been throwing it back. He's been really injecting those good vibes straight into the team environment. And they are playing with that fire behind them. They can't really do it unless Boaster ends up clutching in that instance, really carrying them forwards with the pistol round win. But it feels like they have had that mentality shift that was necessary for Fnatic to actually make a decent go of it in this series.
Yeah, I was really impressed by what Boaster was able to do in this round in particular. You know, they had ideas with the Odin, but I think importantly too, being able to create their own momentum with nice ideas and with individual stuff. But I thought there was a chance Boaster had twerked on him too early.
Yeah.
It was the first time they took the lead, right? It was right after they actually
I mean, that round at 99, it comes so close to Loud winning there. If they had picked up that round, there is very, very much a world where Loud could have closed this out 2-0. So it's another situation where Fnatic, this lower bracket run, is alive, but it's again a hair's edge away from elimination.
Yeah, and let's take a look at our HyperX Reflect moments featuring Aspas and Durka. Josh just going at each other, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, the Jet matchup really worked. I was impressed by this. This round was so well done. Les was on the lurk, and then Aspas controls catwalk. Look at these shots.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
And just applying that pressure to them. I love the backstab as well. The entire time Les was distracting for this instance. He's just firing shots at them. They're wondering where these players are. Sets up Aspas beautifully for the 2-piece.
He just sees Durka's leg for like a fraction of a second, and then immediately knows he's going to swing.
His crosshair placement is always impeccable, but Durka turns around and does that straight back at Aspas. He doesn't even get around the corner really, and he's already been beheaded by the Blade Storm. And Durka, beyond that, finished that one off with some huge op kills to close out that round, and then was also doing great across the rest of that second half to bring Fnatic back to this third map.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we wanted, right? An Aspas-Durka duel where both of them are on form. We're going to get it, but we are heading to Haven for the very last time. There's no more second chances. If you are cold here, you are going to have a slow start here. It's going to be disastrous for you because elimination is on the line. Bren, Fnatic, they got themselves back in the game after that atrocious, I guess, start. What can Loud do here? What do they need to do?
Loud are going onto a map where I think that they excel at, honestly. They play that double, the Viper and the Harbor composition on Haven. They look excellent. They look brilliant. And if you're not ready for it as a team to break it down, you will get brutalized by them. The good news for Fnatic is they have warmed up. That passion is back. You can see in the way they're playing. They're being proactive with it. They're winning 50% of their 4v5s in that last map. They are really making the most of this situation when their backs are up against the wall. And I hope that they really do bring the fire as well to Loud once more here in this map number 3.
Just to double down on how good Loud are at Haven, they haven't lost in over a year. They're on a 10-map win streak on Haven. So this is going to be a major challenge.
If I'm Fraud right now, I'm just kicking my legs up. I already won this game for us in the match.
There's no way. There's no way.
There's no chance.
No, but
the
seriously,
stress levels, the cortisol levels are through the roof for Fraud.
They've got to be anxious for him, but for the team, I think on the side of Loud, you can realize that, hey, we lost Ascent, we had a rough second half, but this is normally the map where we thrive, and Fnatic has really struggled here. And Durka in particular has had some really rough attack sides when he's playing on Jet, which is also a really hard role to play into this Harbor Viper.
There's a massive difference between what he's able to do on the attack sides versus defense. And I think this also applies to Alpha. Yeah, Alpha tends to get his stats up hugely on the attack side, but he also goes for lurk plays through the garage, and he's baiting a lot of the time too, I think. So that's a big issue for them to tighten up on attack side. Alpha needs to be closer to the pack, and Durka needs to not die whilst trying to go for opening kills.
Yeah, it's about being in sync with the rest of the team when you're on your attack side as well. And it is going to be really punishing if you're mistiming that against, again, the Viper Harbor. There's going to be walls in your face. It's going to be util all over the place. When Durka's going for these dash plays inside of his own cloudburst, there needs to be some form of follow-up there. Otherwise, he's going to be left on an island a lot of the time on his attack side. You might just see it really cement itself as well in the stats that we just looked at there.
And Osboss was a player who really stepped up on map 2 for Loud. Despite the loss there, this is a map where he's so comfortable. He tends to be excellent on the jet here, and I think he is the best in the world at playing around these Harbor Viper compositions, understanding what angles he has through these smokes, and coordinating with his teammates so well.
Yeah, Fnatic, they had a choice to not ban Lotus and maybe force Loud to choose either Lotus or Bind, but they decided
Which is insane, because Lotus has been their best map all year. This is such a risk to take Loud to their best map.
The way that I read into that is surely they have something on Haven, right? We talk about Fraud watching hours and hours and hours of VODs, but Brent, surely coming into this, Mini and Boaster must have been cooking for something.
I have to assume they gave Loud the option of playing either Bind or Haven. Both maps as well, you know, Bind, when you look at Fnatic as a team, they didn't look hot on it the last time they played, and Haven, one of the better ones for Loud as well, their bread and butter. So I think that they kind of gave that choice to them. You have to imagine Fnatic come into this with a decent level of preparation.
I think you're getting baited there a little by the optimism. I think, honestly, what that speaks to is their weakening map pool over the course of this. Loud proved that their Lotus can go toe-to-toe with Fnatic. They scaled up their ideas to a point where Loud looked phenomenal on that map. And I think it's more a case of Fnatic just not wanting to have to deal with it, and instead taking it more towards different territory. I think they were stuck between a rock and a hard place to come out veto, because they keep banning Pearl. And I'm getting close.
Yeah, at what point do you really bring it out?
Fnatic might be going.
Yeah, exactly. This might be it. That's the thing.
This might be the point.
Its elimination is 1-1.
Yeah, because even if you win here, it's a BO5. Your map pool is going to be tested again. Fnatic, I think this is the hardest they've ever had it. It's roadblock upon roadblock from this point, and it starts here against Loud on their best map. If they even want a shot of that third trophy, and they're not close, it's still the lower round 3. There's still 2 more games to play, even if you win here.
This is just to guarantee yourself 3rd place, minimum, right?
Which would be a disappointment for Fnatic.
I think this would be a disappointment, honestly, for both of these teams. They're both striving for something more than that. Sadak's actually talked about the fact that it's been a successful year for them already with their rookie players coming in. But at the end of the day, there are 2 really competing legacies here between these 2 teams. Fnatic hunting for the 3-peat, Loud looking to win champions again. One of them is guaranteed to be stumped on the road to finding that success and cementing a legacy for themselves.
Yeah.
The question is just who.
Well, let's take a look here at the Prime Gaming agent select and see if any of them are going to make any changes, but it doesn't seem to be. Both of them are very comfortable on Haven. You can see it here in the agent select.
No comp change for Fnatic, and this could be a worrying sign, honestly. Playing into Harbor Viper, this Breach Sova comp can sometimes struggle with so many smokes in play. With that Breach Flash, it's a lot harder to fight through versus a Sky or a KO, where you can use it a lot more on the fly.
You get hard outpaced in terms of util as well. You get bogged out, you kind of just get, when the rounds get really long, the initiator util of Fnatic as well with the Sova, the Breach, it doesn't pace particularly well when you're up against the smokes, the mollies, everything coming at you.
I want to reiterate again, Durka on an attack side has had it difficult. They've found it tough to put him in positions to win these rounds. Alpha tends to bait a little, and I don't know how they're going to deal with Loud's flood defenses. The cards are stacked against Fnatic here to make this lower bracket run a reality. I think Loud should be feeling quietly confident heading into Haven.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what we're going to get here. The series is all tied up. It's time for our final map. The winner will move on to face EG in the best of 5 tomorrow. One last time. Pansy, take it away.
One more map between these 2. Only one can go forward. Elimination now, such a reality between these 2, weighing heavily on their mind. Fnatic coming alive in map 2, but it was clinical on map 1. Split, a 13-4 result. They had all the answers. Ascent, a closer affair, but Fnatic finding themselves again. And now we go into map 3. Haven on the cards here. Loud, no slouches to this. And Fnatic on the attack. Loud trying to hold them off here. And already a patient start towards middle. Contact is made as Boaster maybe sent reeling on 50. looks relatively simplistic towards the B site for now, but you can see them hesitating for a moment. They're actually going to pull away from this. The counter utility enough to dissuade Fnatic and hold them at bay.
This pistol round still extremely tense between these two teams as well. Going to jump in to take over things from Mike. But Lauren, this matters so much for them.
Yeah.
Both of these teams have been sustained by their pistol round wins and the momentum they can get off the back of that. And there's only 40 seconds left, waiting to get back up to the recon and the stun.
And look at the HP. Boaster, 50, 47 Durka, 38 Chronicle. Alpha and Leo, yes, a little better off, but now seeing all that intention here. Utility invested, the clock is running severely low, 24 seconds. Loud are already on the site, they're ready for this. What is happening? Fnatic are going to find the first, taking down 2 East, but where is that spike? Finally going to be put on the site here, but I'm nervous about this one. This looks so deadly. Loud going to be instantly back into it. Durka and Chronicle fall. It's on the back 3 now. One still on the site, still trying to hold this close as Boaster dips away. Semifinals dealt with, the trades come in, and it's all on Boaster again. Another 1v3 required, and this time, it's not going to happen.
I think that's a perfect demonstration of how Loud like to defend on the A side. They use this orb from Sadak to create individual angles where they can simplify the defense. They know that they only have to worry about one angle at a time. You see them just slowly working, cutting the pie as they move their way around the backside, isolating any chance for Fnatic to make anything happen. Loud are always going to have people in backside of every position that you play. I mean, A, C, they are always going to use smoke utility to be there and fighting you before it even comes to a retake.
And I'm a little worried about that B piece. That little bit of either hesitation or adjustment. They looked like they were about to commit to it. Maybe it being the plan or not, I'm not sure. But for now, that adjustment looked last minute. It looked adjusted. And we look at Fnatic going back into this with Sheriffs galore. That's about all they're going to bring through. Maybe an early test, an early read, but once again, at the heel of Loud at the start of this.
Fnatic love to try and remove Killjoy utility from Garage, but one of the things that I've noticed they struggle with, and one of the reasons I think that they've been struggling in general with their Haven attack, is that they make it so easy for the defenders to re-clear. You see how they don't insert anybody in Garage here? They don't maintain any level of presence. And Loud, just a single peek in, they realize that there's no real threat there.
Yeah, Les still being as active as he was, as you said, ensuring that there is no follow-up to this, even if you note Sadak keeping a bit of a track of it too.
And Les will always try and get aggressive in Garage. If you're looking to try and find a pick against Loud, focusing on Les refighting Garage would be a great way to try and generate 5v4s for Fnatic.
And again, late round information coming through. The dog going down has now noted at least 2 players from Fnatic, so they're being forced around this map with very little reward for themselves. Maybe if they get timing on Sadak, but again, you're hoping for instances that you cannot determine yourself. Sadak here could catch Chronicle. I think he might just miss the timing. But works so well. Playing off the corner, great trade for Boaster.
He ran into the wall.
But there's still players here. Look at the amount of bodies on this site already. It's not just Les. Aspas very nearby, forced away towards CT. Leo trying to put the utility into play for Durka, but he's being checked on. He's being kept safe. And with 13 seconds, they're going to struggle for this plant. Maybe able to get it down here unless the swing comes in. Les, 22 HP. He's still punishing Alpha. Big trade for Boaster. Boaster! He's got to go nuclear in this though. A 1v2. He's got the plant. And now he's got to find both of these healed up. They're taking no chances. Wait, the timing on this could be incredible. The catch on the flash doesn't reveal everything, but it's given them an inkling. But he's got an angle. He's got a chance! The timing on that, Aspas, so quick.
Boaster found the only opening that was available to him, the tiniest of timings and opportunities, and still Loud were diligent enough to be able to hit that flick and deal with him.
Must be nice to be Aspas.
It definitely feels, though, like Fnatic are applying the pressure on the third map. They haven't just gone quietly into the night. They're still trying to bring it in these moments and make every round tough, force Loud to win.
I do just have worries when I'm seeing Boaster being the one most activated out of all of them. Now, not just from map 2, but even leading into map 3, I need to see Leo, I need to see Durka, I need Alpha, I need all of them to start actually activating individually in this.
And I think that's a little worrying too, because Boaster is the emotional leader for the team. And at the moment, it feels like he's trying to lead from the front and drag the rest of his team up in terms of energy as well.
Oh, Christ.
This is a massive clash.
Oh, Christ, Durka, this is, oh dear, Fnatic keeping themselves in this though. That could have been deadly.
Massive potential there for that to go wrong. Les coming up behind,
trying to fill the gap based on all of that information that Fnatic were fighting over A long.
I mean, Les does have a Vandal.
He's the only player that's really going to be a threat, and he's in the perfect position.
How long does he hold on this? I mean, he's got no reason to move, really. He's the last line of defense to the rest of the map.
This is one of the things that you get the best out of Les and Alpha, is that they're so happy to go for pushes like this.
Poster seems aware, but he doesn't clear diligently enough. Caught off guard and less rewarded. Quick trade. Durka back on track. B-site looking like the end destination here. Aspas and Tui's not likely to do much more.
Spike planted.
They're so far away from this too. It's not even like Aspas and Tui's are in a position where they can get info on where Fnatic would be repositioning. And any damage to the economy is going to be fairly minor because Fnatic just love using these light armors at all times. We've seen them even not being affected too much by the bonus round wins.
Might get the drop on Durka here. He does.
Aspas looks sharp, doesn't he?
Give him a Guardian.
The flick in the previous round onto Boaster and then that as well.
I mean, Tui's could have a little golden crack up. Wait.
Hello?
Alpha!
No way!
Oh my god, wait, Chronicle got Tui's! That's ridiculous, what a silly end to the round, but it's fine. They weathered the storm, but there is damage done. Losing 3, that's rifles now gone. Yes, the light buyers should supplement through with that light armor coming in, but still, Fnatic put on notice this doesn't feel comfy yet.
One of the biggest pieces of damage that Les has done with that play that you see Durka just clean up is that Les now has his lockdown online for round 4. In a round that could end up being economically important. You look at Fnatic, they've got 3 players that wouldn't really be able to buy up into the next.
Got Aspas on the operator. Does he go for a challenge off the rip? Well, it's Aspas. He certainly does! Durka dead, tip of the spear blunt, and now they get full control. 5v4, do Fnatic continue on this path?
They are so committed. 4 players deep down A long.
Follow up here, Aspas. Gonna be sticking around! They don't expect it! How does he get away with this so often? Finally checked by Chronicle. The spike plant a little more contested than they'd like. Feeling like they want to brawl. The bomb flash is gorgeous! Loud! Re-challenging Fnatic and closing them down.
Fnatic do not have an answer for how to break into A. You see the way that Loud are using that Viper Orb and then also being able to work around the Cloudburst and work around the Cove that they even use towards the backside. And they make sure that they are never getting pushed. They only have to worry about this one angle. They only have to worry about you pushing through that. I think if Fnatic want to challenge towards A, they need to be disrespecting Sadak's Viper Orb. You actually need to take the decay damage and walk through that so that you're applying pressure from both sides of default.
Oh, close enough. Okay. Have those knives ready to go.
Get out of my way.
Invest them almost instantaneously. It looks like once again that lean towards B. The A site somewhat closed. Stalled out though. We held back here. Gonna try and get ahead of things. Blended. I mean, he was dead in a blink of an eye. That's again most of the threat from this round gone.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether we saw a bullet tag there onto Durka or something, but he didn't land the dash updraft that he was looking for to get on top.
It should be almost farming time. Bulldog, yes, for Chronicle, but Loud, very controlled here.
And one of the issues is that if Fnatic are in 4v5s in situations like this, they're not going to pull out ultimates. You know, Les and Tui's are not going to feel like they're obligated to invest a lockdown or a reckoning into a round like this, which is one of the major wins that Fnatic can really take from a low eco situation.
Fnatic aren't going to find mistakes here from Loud. Sitting patiently. Maybe trying to exploit some of the pressure towards Garage, get the potential of a plant towards B, but Sadak is here, Les all too aware that they may want to try and filter through from Garage. And Sadak controls towards B exceptionally well. Les receives towards Garage. And once again, they have wraps on this Fnatic side. Leo could try and do damage, but it's going to be irrelevant. This is stunning from Loud, fully prepared here.
Feels like similar scenes when Fnatic go down early at the beginning of these maps and have to dig themselves out of a hole. There's only so many times that you can recover when the pressure is applied to you in this kind of way. If Fnatic are a cat with 9 lives, they have used up a ton of them already earlier in the tournament. And it gets to these kind of big moments against opponents that a hair's breadth away from you, even when you're playing at your absolute peak.
Yeah.
You can't give them an inch.
Crush them.
And I'm waiting to see the mini timeout. I don't know when it's going to happen. I thought it could be even now at this point, but it's not. Still going to trust in the plan here, Fnatic. As the early test is towards middle. Sadak, particularly deterred yet. Maybe trying to play in Aspas with that operator.
I mean, look at Les. He has a lockdown to try and play retake, but instead, he's tucked in Cubby in mid. This is the kind of flair and the variety that he can give you. You expect him to be playing a passive situation retake somewhere, much less likely you're going to clear this.
Now, they may have noted Sadak, which is a little bit of a switch up, so they might be questioning where Les is, but even with that in mind, they still need to actively try and fight through. C is completely open. Again, could depend on the lockdown, the reckoning. Loud have a lot of utility that they could bank upon for a very diligent retake here, but Fnatic still needs to step towards it, still needs to get on towards the site itself, and yes, finally following up through towards Garage, and Sadak's lucky to be alive.
Everyone from Loud is here, though, ready to play the retake. Fnatic have got C, sure. Plant's going to go down. But 2E's has his high tide to ready, to get back in here. They still have the Viper alive as Sadak escape. They have lockdown, they have reckoning, they're a huge ult.
Counter, trying to work off this one.
They hit Durka.
He can't now springboard off the back, that could have been everything. Alpha trying to fill that void, but still they need the plant. They've offset the timing a little bit, but they still have a massive fight for that lockdown. Do they completely fall away? The divide could go up as well. This is a bit of everything in it, and Alpha's been overwhelmed. Gone down to 2E's, bulldozering his way forward, and Leo's got to run. Try and get out of here in time, and they've been forced away towards long.
The utility's not amazing either. Look at how deep that high tide is. Separates Chronicle from all the rest.
Oh, he couldn't quite get it to halfway, denied by Leo. Back to business. You're going to have this all being poured through. Fnatic forced to invest everything, and they're holding on. Aspas, the last line in this. The last one to try and do some damage, and Fnatic are toying with him. Surely there's no more. Surely 2E's can't draw the attention away. He can't. Aspas wants to keep the operator, wants to get out of there. And Fnatic, I mean, skin of their teeth in this round.
But an awesome idea from them. It got chaotic, absolutely. But Chronicle ulting at the start actually disrupts Loud's plan to go for the retake at the beginning anyway. And it bought enough time for Fnatic to reposition into a more standard, let's all play down C and spam the spike kind of situation. If they don't throw that breach ult in, even though there was no follow-up, Loud are there much quicker on the retake, and Fnatic are caught in transition trying to run away down long. Very tiny moments, and you're right, by the skin of their teeth. Aspas saved the operator, looking towards B, but Fnatic are going to continue to apply pressure A early. They're really trying to condition Loud to be afraid of this, and yet Loud still only have 2 people here because the actual A endings have not worked.
You're absolutely right. They don't have to be too worried about that late round. Now, information should be found here, and it is. 2 noted, but Fnatic holding quite a deep default. Not really working too early throughout the map.
Potential for a battle over Garage here. Both of these Killjoy players are extremely happy to take duels. But Alpha's being patient here, waiting for the rest of the team.
It's only less, though. I mean, yes, he's got Aspas on towards B, but it's a 3-play stack towards A, and Leo's won them the fight. Off the support system of the spam coming out from Alpha, but C is on a platter once again. They found something that's working. Now, obviously, they don't know that. They still have to do all the diligent checks on the way in here, but the plant should be inevitable, but this gives Loud time to hit that rotation button.
They don't have the high tide up yet from 2E's, so that's going to stall out Loud for just a moment, especially with the Nana Swarms.
Comes in. Durka deciding to stick around. Oh dear. Deciding to stick around for how long? He's being checked on. Counting's taking him down. Let's give him the step towards the site. All players, I think for a second there, Alpha considering maybe splitting through middle, are towards long. They need to get going on this one though. They need to get it towards halfway if Loud want an opportunity, but maybe just a shot in the dark's gonna work. Chronicle slightly further ahead. Boaster on the trade. Code goes up. This has to be it. This has to be essential. Aspas trying to defend, but he's losing out on bodies. Teammates are falling like flies, and Fnatic, even with their backs to the wall, are desperately trying to hold this. And they might just have it. I don't know how close this is gonna be. Oh!
Unbelievable heartbreak there for Loud on the defuse. 0.06 of a second in it. Barely any opportunity for error. Loud's retakes have been slowed down though. Fnatic have found something that is working here. That difference is so minimal. And think if 2E's has his high tide online earlier, if they aren't stalled out by the nanoswarms over towards spawn, that is all the difference you need.
Wow. And with all that said and done, the 2 consecutive rounds for Fnatic here are enough that Loud decided to pump the brakes. They want to check back in. Frog wants to have a word. I mean, as you rightly highlighted, A is pretty much the castle. Loud don't seem too fussed by it. Fnatic can't fully break in. Yes, they can get a plant, but the rest of the map has been available and they've been starting to find a weakness.
Yeah, so I think if I'm Fraud here, I'm calling for 2E's to hold on to his high tide because you need that to be able to flood retake onto C. The set retakes aren't working. And I'm also calling for Les to play a little more passively in Garage because he clearly, Fnatic have identified that as an area where they can catch a pick. You saw them enter into Garage and then triple spam the position that Les is going to be playing in. Once you get hard red like that, you've got to adjust. And maybe that means playing in the C connector with a hard anchor from Sadak, but I would like to see them play flood defending instead and saving that high tide that 2E's has been throwing that cuts off front of B in front of Garage.
This does give the option to Fnatic, though, to try and flex back into this A-take, but I am also seeing that Aspas is here. Again, the beauty of having to depend on Les being a bit more passive, a little bit safer, you don't have to particularly disrupt the rest of the map. You can kind of leave him to play that on his own. A small adjustment can make a world of difference, but Aspas, the one who could be in the right place, potentially, at the right time. This is a lot of players down towards long, and Aspas is waiting patiently towards the sewer. Hello. Just gonna sit towards this corner, tell his teammates, you watch towards long, please. All of Fnatic are here. But can they make it work this time? Oh, the slow trip back. Aspas criminal to get away with it. Fnatic, there's no safety on this site. They have very little to work with. Finally, they at least have hell and backside, but it's the first time in a while, and it's not their own site at all. There's 3 players in sewer.
These Loud players are going to be difficult to root out, and Boaster is the first one to try. He must know that there's a chance there's a couple of players down there.
Well, they succeeded on the first, but the trade comes out. They've got to now know Aspas is here and Calentine. That's a big picture to be painting. The Viper pick going to go through. Let's get a clear Chronicle, and now it's getting dicey. Durka and Leo, the last 2 alive. They've got to work in perfect unison. Leo with 1, a second, and now down to an all-even number as Durka started to do that damage. Aspas, the last one alive. In a 1v1 up against Leo, the guy who could be ice cold. The king himself, Leo, can he buy the time? It looks like he has. Aspas has to relinquish, to walk away. A classic moment between Leo and Durka. Wonderful scenes.
And Leo even takes the operator out of Aspas's hands as well towards the end. It feels like we haven't seen too many rounds like this where the Fnatic players are the ones finding those huge moments, and it coming as a combo of a couple of people, not just one individual going nuts. A very different look there from Fnatic on their A attack, deciding to leave short completely open and instead push for backside control. Boaster's starting to come up with plans here of how to find the first pick and avoid what Loud are doing on defense.
Repetition though, they keep doing this. Straight back on the operator, Aspas, not willing to give that up at all. We eye up the rest of the map. Do we see Fnatic now test back towards that C site, the adjustments that maybe we were considering from the timeout, but that's a very different position for Sadak, and well, Alpha's already been what?
I don't know.
This is just straight blind spam, right? Zero chance he saw anything.
On the other side, Sadak definitely saw something there. Dead to rights.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I mean, imagine going from Fnatic, having that read 2 rounds in a row to be able to pick up less and then go for an A-site hit, and then this is just a flawless, instantly responded.
Well, that's what the timeout was for, clearly. I mean, a very unique look. You can't always bank on that, but it worked so wonderfully.
Can you really not?
No, I don't think you can bang again through a wall, and then maybe the judge works out. I don't know. Hey, prove me wrong, but I'm also worried because I'm noting here the finances for Fnatic are in tatters. They could get a bit of a buy, yes, but it's not going to be pretty. And yeah, take those when you get them.
Yeah, these wallbang kills, just immaculate from Les, and also applying the pressure before the utility came through. So, not getting caught there, because he's able to spam before the Fnatic players are even into Garage.
Sting is Cherish, Bulldog, yes, for Alpha, but that's the best they're bringing in. An early information note of presence towards A long, so for Loud, do they put together the full picture here? Durka, able to close that gap though. Actually, Full site control this time, gained by Fnatic.
Yeah, Durka disrespected that Sadak Viper Orb and went through it, taking the decay, but clearing out from both sides. Loud did not fight, instead playing for the full retake.
Where the hell is that Monster coming from? Down on long. I don't think it's quite got what he wanted here. Quarantine tagged up a little, but it's too easy to find Chronicle. Durka, this is a lot to ask. They're investing, the ults are investing a great deal on this. The lockdown going to be coming in as well. This is going to get chaotic on the side. Who keeps their cool? It's Quarantine taking down Boaster, but the response coming in. Diffuse is still going. Nothing is stopping this. They're going to send it.
Unreal scenes. Leo just a fraction too late there on the spike. Throwing those shock darts in, desperately trying to keep his team alive. Stop the diffuse. Fnatic invested so many ultimates into a situation there where they had the worst economy. They're believing very heavily in the counter strat that they have on the A. No! And that's not a normal reaction to winning an anti-eco.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I think that maybe speaks a little to the bigger picture here as Fnatic are hitting the brakes for themselves. Mini, who's been quite vocal about some of his frustrations in this tournament so far and a couple of the hiccups on the way, but it's time for a check-in at 6-4. Fnatic can't let this slip out of their fingertips if they want to have a competitive half.
And I think for Fnatic, I'm looking towards Durka and Alpha. Yeah, those are the players that have been with this roster for so long and have been the two heavy hitters. Before this was even a super team, you still had Durka and Alpha going crazy in whatever role they were playing. Combined, right now, they're 5-20. That is brutal for an attack side Jet player. And Alpha, who, while I'm not always a fan of how he plays on the attack side, tends to still get the kills up at the very least. Both of those players going completely absent, and it's still a somewhat close half at 6-4. If they can find their moments to come online, they can be the difference makers to making this a dead even half where Fnatic feel much more comfortable on defense.
And statistically, Durka is one of those players who is a big game player. He does well from playoffs onwards. He doesn't traditionally slouch in this, but as I said, this hasn't been a comfortable game for him at all. We've seen Boaster, I think, leading the scoreboard more than either of them, which is baffling to me. I mean, yeah, I do want to see if they find some of that security going in, but for now, for Loud, if they can get 3 in a row, this could be huge. I mean, Alt's very close by, less one off. Cowanzine one away too.
Boaster looks like he's just going to call the heavy A hit again, and they are going straight into Aspas Operator.
He's managed to avoid the stun. Has to reveal that he is in this position to avoid being detected, but does he hear Durka? No, it doesn't matter! He still claims a life! Alpha is dead and buried, and now there's problems. He's still going. Fnatic are held at the door here. How the hell are you meant to get in? I guess that's how. Try and shut them down, try and push them back, and respectfully, they slip back towards CT.
Aspas with the Blade Storm is still going to be really useful on this retake. He's not hampered at all by the Operator. There's only 2 players really committed in nice post-plant positions from Fnatic. It's just Durka and Chronicle forwards.
Here we go. Retake about to get started. Aspas first couple of steps forward. Boaster, Durka looking to try and work in unison. Doesn't get isolated, but does get traded. Tui's there on the hard carrying work towards the site, trying to take all that space away. Chronicle already noted as well. I mean, Tui seemed a little lost in that then, as Chronicle gets away with his life further, finally dealt with by less, pushed deeper away. Leo now having to come online, trying to get involved in this, and now down to just Boaster. And I say just, it's the 2 IGLs again! And Sadak, he got it to half, and he gets the defuse.
What a play by Sadak. The 2 IGLs going head-to-head towards the end of that clutch, and it feels like Boaster's got more confidence than most of the other players on Fnatic. He goes for the wide swing. He had chances to be able to win that one too. Playing around, but his health was just too low. Sadak catching him with a bullet there as he goes for the jump peak, trying to bait the diffuser off. The Loud players are hunting for these fights. You see how Les is getting aggressive, making space for the diffuse to come down. He's hungry to take duels because right now they are diffing. This Jet Killjoy duo is outmatching Durka and Alpha to such extraordinary levels.
Chance to make up for it. A Pixel spotted, but he escapes with his life. Durka just can't close down on these kills. He's struggling. A judge in the back pocket may not be ideal here. And Aspas waiting. So much invested. Leo's the one to claim one. The trade comes out, and the Spike is trying to evacuate, trying to run away. But Tui's punishes them in the back as they try and fall down long. They're scrambling.
Fnatic are going to try and make a mid-round pivot here. They've been going so heavily, 5 players in one spot the last 4 rounds in a row. They never have a plan B. There is never anyone on the lurk to be able to give them options or even info elsewhere. So this scramble is just that. But there's no drone, there's no recon, there's no way of clearing out these positions if there was a threat.
They're working in so blind. They have no idea where Les is. They haven't seen him. They're still having to be so careful clearing everything. And now they're walking into a site that's already been defended by County. He's seen enough. Calls for support, he gets it. They're ahead of it. They have to play ahead of this utility. They need something on their side, be it the time, be it anything. And now we go into a post plant.
Look at Les, tucked in on Spawn, using his ult to clear out the whole of B. They need to watch for a garage repush here, but the rest of Loud should have their opportunities to get in. The high tide used quite early though, so Fnatic will still have chances to spam, and Aspas catches that garage repush I was talking about.
Durka is struggling here as a Fnatic. 4 rounds might be all they're going to get. Unless Leo is the one to activate. It's all on him now in a 1v2. Oh, he's been put in the corner. He's been put down. Loud are playing exceptional Valorant now. That's going to be 8, and it might be the first nail in Fnatic's coffin.
Loud really do seem like the Fnatic kryptonite. They've just got the read, got the game plans every time.
This could be a fatal half for Fnatic. 4 rounds is not enough. Leo trying to put up heroic numbers, but Loud, pound for pound, are absolutely outplaying Fnatic, as you said. Aspas and Les, the combination is just exceptional. Gorgeous Valorant.
Fnatic better on the other half. 4 rounds might be enough if they can take pistol, but Loud has just been so good there.
What a start it has been for Loud here. We've got Mimi, Achilles, and Bren back with me. Let's just talk about this comp. You guys talked about how Fnatic could deal with it. Mimi, what did you think about their game plan against Loud?
I think they had some ideas early on, but really this came down to the flood retakes that this comp is known for Loud. Fnatic was able to get into these post plants, but time and time again, the thing that Loud is always great at here, these A flood defenses continue to work for them. Beyond that, these Loud players are also just stepping up so much individually. They're so confident pushing in on these retakes.
And there's a reason why Loud are currently, I believe, 10 rounds or 10 wins in a row when it comes to Haven as a map. This is one where you just really see this comp push to its limits. They're fantastic with it. They basically invented it, for God's sake. And we stand here at the brink, honestly. This is where dreams are going to be made or crushed. It's either one way or the other, but currently Fnatic with a massive deficit in terms of rounds they've got to get themselves over.
But they have done that in the past. You know, they did it versus this team. They've been in a larger deficit than they find themselves in at the moment, but they need to be able to rally back, because right now what we're seeing is Leo hitting his shots and everybody else kind of whiffing. It's been back and forth between some little pop-off moments, but Leo has been the constant, whereas everybody on Loud is sharing in the frags. You've got 3 people who are out-fragging pretty much anybody else on the side of Fnatic. They need to get their heads back into the game. They need to start getting that crosshair placement pin perfect if they want to be able to take this.
Fnatic has already won 2 tournaments this year, the first to do it back-to-back. But if your year ends at Champions, disappointment, going out early in the lower round 3, that's what people will remember. Not the super team who went on a run, who made history. It'll be the team who disappointed when it mattered most. So for Fnatic, if there was ever a moment to channel that comeback, they found it lock-in, it would be here.
Yeah, and Loud, they don't want to let this slip once again against this Fnatic team. Let's jump back into the half, Pansy and Sideshow, and see who's going to take this one.
It's got to start with a pistol here for Fnatic. If you're looking for a turnaround, they have been absent for them thus far in this series and a little in this tournament. Loud, on the other hand, with a fabulous start here in map 3.
This wall is going to apply so much pressure, and Durka's going to look to try and fight behind it. Oh, how does he get one and escape?
It's a sparse one that he's claimed. He hasn't been exactly hitting here. But hey, if that's how you started off, if that's the turn of the half, you take them. The less fancies it back.
Loud look cautious on the way in through B. Need to break alarm bot here as well before Fnatic will bite and realize that this is actually coming towards the C site.
Well, as much as we noted Durka having a quiet one, as was Alpha. his site now being overtaken. Not much to really do. They will give themselves the plant, and they give themselves a fair shout at this post plant. Sadak getting aggressive on this, trying to build off the back of Karanzin's damage, but he couldn't quite close down on Chronicle. So Fnatic stay standing with 4 across to the sub. Okay, it was Alpha to land that. I thought somehow less might, but that one does land. As now it's a 1v3, and Les has been good, but I don't think he's been this good. Half defuse achieved, 29 HP, overwhelmed. Fnatic take the first step here.
And a crucial pistol. Not just because they're down 8-4, but also it starts to activate those players that were so quiet in the first half. We ran the stats on the desk earlier about Durka on the attack side versus defense side on this map. It's been a running theme all throughout Champions. But Durka looked, again, more comfortable there in his position, defending his jet, and Alpha was also able to get 3 on the round. These are the players you need to wake up. Nice. Boaster's been there in terms of his energy and what he's been bringing.
Yes.
There's only so much you can do to inspire the rest of the team. They need to step up of their own volition.
First steps taken towards it on that long road back here, but keep in mind it is loud and they look pretty lethal. And no real messing around on the pace here. They want eyes set towards C. The Boaster and Alpha. Get a plant here, Loud. This one gets dropped and Alpha's farming. The Eco Cobra doing very well for himself, but hold up a second. Bit of damage back, but again, dealt with. Threats handled. No plants, no problems.
And Fnatic still with 2 rifles that they can bring into the next round. I've liked what Fnatic have brought on Haven, on their defense side. I think they've had some really cute set plays that have applied a lot of pressure. If there was ever a time to bring one out, you're not saving it for the lower bracket final or the grand final. You need it now. Fnatic, the super team, the favorites for this tournament, are being pushed and need something big to get the momentum back on their side on Haven.
Well, this could be quite nice. Again, Durka, a little bit of a fiend down in the sewers. This time going to be forced away. Early investment of utility just to deal with his positioning. Loud prioritizing that long control as their first port of call.
Fnatic are going to play around Durka and Leo controlling short. If this A hit does come through, they've still got a position to reinforce. And on the other side of the map, Alpha's taken a walk down C long. So again, playing these aggressive, almost one-and-done positions, as Les was on the defense side. Both of these Killjoys are really quite similar in how they approach the map.
There's that second attempt now towards the side. They've got the sewer control to add to the collection. Now it's slowly chipping away at this Fnatic hold, but still not taking fully committed steps towards the side just yet. Very patient. And I don't think he saw Sadak there. Maybe still aware. Yeah, still a jump spot, but almost got caught out there. Leo needs to be very careful with this. 40 seconds.
Wow.
This is now going to get dicey. Can Loud close the gap, or they're finding no early chances.
They're leaving, and Althea has not taken the bait at all.
30 seconds left.
Oh, there's indecision within the Loud camp. Sadak called for some kind of rotate,
Wait.
but it looks like it might have been
Wait,
an audio
no.
bait. The sound bait has just left the site, completely open. Fnatic got it, hook, line, and sinker.
Loud, this is dreamy. They were never meant to get this.
Just footsteps of them running away, and the whole of Fnatic rotated off A. They were so convinced that was going to be a late round rotate, as was I.
I think we all were. And they made it work, but can they hold on now? It's retake time. Cove's gonna go in, all the utility being poured through towards CT to stall out. Keep Fnatic at arm's length, and Aspas is breaking their back! 3 massive kills. Durka and Alpha have to save. There is no other option here.
What a call. What a call. Whoever that was from Loud has just absolutely rinsed Fnatic. They looked scattered on the retake as well, like their heads were already out of the round. And Boaster's trying to get back in through spawn, and the next player is country mile away.
That's mental.
That's a rattler as well.
Oh, that's in your head. That is absolutely in your head at that point. And keep it in mind, where was Alpha at that point? Because he was down C long earlier, he felt no pressure, no steps heard, no utility, maybe a little paranoid about B, but again, to fully pull the plug feels so overzealous.
Yeah, and I think Mini at this point, you're not even seeing that level of emotional reaction, and that worries me even more. If he can feel within the team atmosphere that it's slipping away, almost a sense of apathy overtaking that determination and frustration from the perfection he usually expects.
Can they recover? This puts their mental to the test, and Loud, I mean, you will adore getting around like that. They probably don't know how fortunate they were in that fact that Fnatic basically evacuated the site, but again, they'll watch it back, they'll feel that momentum shift here. They still have to get past the challenge in Sur if they fancy going back towards A.
Fnatic didn't really adjust at all based on that B fake pressure at the start of this round. They're still in nice spots to stop the A hit.
Here.
Durka and Leo, the two on the site. The entirety of Loud coming up. That should be big info. Start ringing the alarm bells. Loud are in. Aspas taking those steps, but Durka trying to survive down here. Trying to keep some space for himself, but he's been called back towards site. And now look at Les, closing the gap. That's all where Aspas with the punish. And once again, perfection from Loud on the site take. What's going to come through? Can they hold against the retake from Fnatic?
They don't have a jet to try and break these crosshairs. And once Sadek is positioned on the site, things become almost impossible. You are trying to push through the orb decay, the snake bites that create vulnerability on any players looking to try and retake as well. Alpha has finally got the lockdown online, but he's been absent otherwise in these rounds, just tucked into C Cubby. Having to watch, sadly, as Fnatic on the other side of the map lose all hope of holding on. Durka as well, so antsy, down short, using his Cloudburst, giving away his position when nobody really knew that he was there from Loud. Yeah. I mean, Les just has to comm that there is a jet on short and he's dead.
That's it, literally 3 players turn, there's no way out of that. This is
Fnatic looked
Loud.
shook.
Yeah, we were wondering the knock-on effect of some of those rounds, the one just prior. I think we're seeing it a little here. This is now scary times for Fnatic.
Look at the economy too.
Oh,
Durka
Christ.
is going for a glass cannon operator here to try and be the difference maker and turn this one around. And the op is always going to find it difficult against a Viper Harbor comp. I mean, you're not going to be given any avenues to fight anyway, so Durka's going to find this so difficult. But he's decided he's the man for the job.
And look at what they do. Look at what he's got to work against. He doesn't get the freedom. Oh, but he still gets the shot. Finds Sadek. A different start this time. But does Loud adjust, operating with 4 players this time rather than the 5?
This could be the round where Alfia's position in C Cubby pays dividends too. Always got a chance that Les swings into this operator line, but in the meantime, Loud are taking map control towards Garage, and I don't think they know where Alpha is positioned. A Boaster's distracting wonderfully.
Yeah, he's keeping all eyes on him, but again, as much as it looks like intent, I'm seeing the spike basically by spawn, and I'm seeing Les holding position. And maybe he's waiting for an audio cue if they try and rotate. It's still a test from Loud. They are absolutely trying to play on the nerves of Fnatic here. They're afraid, they are absolutely in pieces, but there's been no over-rotation this time.
Thanks.
Fnatic not falling for that again.
And also thanks to the alarm bot that Alfia is positioned in top garage window. That allowed them to maintain that the whole time.
Durka flashed off the angle. It's Leo now who's a little isolated, slowed down. He goes back for more. That shot didn't hit. And Loud get a second lease of life. Leo can't handle Aspas. And the front of the site's his. Chronicle in support though. Back and forth, leaving just 3 standing, but maybe that could be enough. That 3 is willing and ready to battle. Plant's gonna come in. And Durka rescinds further back.
Alpha's on the flank. He's just put his turret down as well. He's using lockdown instead of going for a sneaky backstab, drawing all eyes to himself.
But again, Durka's trying to operate.
He's missed!
No! Devastating miss on that one. And now down to the 2v2. Durka's on 18 HP. And he needs to deliver here for Fnatic. He finds one. And Les punishes Boaster. And Les is now in the 1v1 for himself. He's just buying time. He's making it hurt. But he's drifting. In the open like this, could have played that a little different, I feel.
Durka whiffed a couple of big chances to secure this round earlier on, but he delivers in the end. And he came in here with no armor, going for the op, believing in himself, found the opener somehow against all odds with this play, and then closes things out. I was very worried when Alpha put the lockdown into short and Durka missed the kill on these players running to try and deal with that ultimate.
Yeah.
And yet he's still there, rock solid for the team towards the end. That is a man seeing flashbacks of lock-in.
Don't. Why have you said it? Why have you said the name? Are you truly the curse?
It's not that much of a comeback just yet.
Not yet. Aspas opting to invest. Knives out, Seekers in. This looks like they want to go off this one. No hesitation. Durka still standing! The Iceman's starting to activate. The mental reset, but Leo's only good for one. I thought he caught that for a second. Semifinals gets a second go of things. And Durka on the switch up here. They're already going to be pushing up on long. Durka, you can't stick around on this, surely.
Committed to the operator there as well. He does still have Bladestorm to try and work with. But once Loud get into these positions, once that Viper Orb goes down, it is so tough for Fnatic to have any chance of retaking, even in a 4v3. They're going to have to commit super heavily on this flank. Boaster and Alfie putting the pressure on Sadak.
Okay, you're going to check this, right, Fnatic? You absolutely don't, so Boaster's dead. Oh, didn't expect the second layer to that. But it's still two on the side. Tui's and Kalanzine spotting out towards Chronicle, tries to slip away with the punish of the back. Wait, the swing. Kalanzine didn't fully get around the corner, and Durka is coming alive. Tui's! Oh my God, Tui's! What a clutch! What a way to push Loud up to 11.
What a ridiculous moment for a player that has had a quiet couple of maps to come alive. So many moments, so many ways in which that could have gone differently. And yet Tui's just gets these players delivered into his crosshair one by one. That's another backbreaker for Fnatic. Another absolute backbreaker.
Mini's on the timeout. Instant. You've just seen Durka smashing his desk. And you're up, and you're at him. Timeout for Fnatic.
Their economy's in shambles.
It absolutely is.
They're almost obliged to give Loud 12 match point, and then try and win 5 in a row to get things back into overtime. This is Fnatic, not just on the ropes, but on the edge of elimination, and on the edge of failing to secure this legacy and era that was theirs to secure at this tournament.
It absolutely was.
We've never had an era of dominance in Valorant. It has always been back and forth. Loud winning their championship in an era of dominance, you could argue, for that old Optic team, and they stole it away from them.
Yeah, El Clasico got shattered. Now, look at the ults. Add that into the equation. Throw that into your mind as well, that Loud sit on a lockdown. They've got so much to play with still, and Fnatic barely can fashion a buy. That 1v3 might have sealed Fnatic's fate. We're yet to find out. We go back into this one. Mini, that was his last chance to truly check in here. He has to get the boys ready for this, because Loud are now poised on the verge, and they're going to be confident as hell.
Boaster's just got a shorty in Garage. There are still threats around the map. Fnatic are going to be hoping and praying that Loud fall into some kind of danger. The shorty, Leo with a stinger.
Couldn't quite find what they wanted here. A little bit of chip damage, but he's still very much alive.
What a rise.
Pressure going to be towards the B site as well. In no hurry.
That's such a great high tide for being able to cut off the player that, you know, is in Leo's position right now, trying to get info at the front of B. You combine that with the Viper Wall, and you can't see anything on defense.
And here are those ults that they had in the back pocket that they get to depend upon. Thoroughly enjoy as they take away another potential round here. Fnatic gonna have to pull off the retake, and it starts with that. Aspas draws blood, takes away Boaster. Again, they're working with a lot less here. Stingers, Guardians, it ain't pretty stuff. Aspas just farming up here, making it hurt. Durka does get one back, but he's going to need more! And maybe he's going to get more. Time, though, he's running low, and I'm pretty sure a second away. But he goes back, but the space has been filled. Aspas betters him again, as Chronicle and Leo are left to watch, as it's going to surely be 12. Aspas is coming alive here.
He's got a chance to go for the ace, but they don't know where Leo exactly is. So he's going to show his back to him. But that's a sorry consolation prize.
It's 12. Loud. Chances now in front of them to close out aplenty. Yes, using some of the ults. Yes, running down a couple low players, you know, but they have full repurchase on this. They still have the Viper's Pit. And on the other side, it's a glass cannon, a bulldog, and a very substantial lack of rounds. It's been nearly 5 in a row coming back through here for Loud.
Loud have figured something out about how to beat this Fnatic team, taking it to them, putting the pressure on. They are 1 round away from knocking them out. In a sorry 4th place.
Boaster, first one under pressure. Aspas towards the site and Boaster looks dead. He absolutely is. Counting's got him, but Chronicle trying to hold on. Static on the trade. It's down to 3 now. Durka, Alpha, and Leo. There's that Viper's Pit, and look at the space it's going to take away. Durka trying to close up, but Cowantine's read it, and the pop flash towards CT. As Alpha and Leo have a 2v3 to try and navigate here. Counting closing out as it's all on Leo. As Fnatic face elimination. Less waiting, and he's got him! It's been 173 days since Fnatic broke Brazil's hearts, and now vengeance is served.
Revenge, I'm sure, definitely tastes sweeter twice over as well. The 2-0 in the upper bracket, and then a 2-1 win here with a devastating 13-7 on Haven. Loud themselves are fighting for some kind of legacy of their own. We talk a lot about Fnatic because they were the first team ever to go back-to-back with Masters and Lock-In. But they're going to go home. Loud on the other side have made 3 grand finals across 5 events and are looking to try and make that 1 more.
Wow. The dynasty we were discussing with Fnatic now becomes legacy, only able to achieve the 2 back-to-back, the 3rd, the triple crown, the Grand Slam, just not in touching distance. And you've got to say, at this point in my mind, Loud are in championship form here. They are in full force.
It's going to be a great matchup. That lower bracket final is just going to be unreal.
Wow.
But Loud, I think, are up to the challenge.
Yeah.
It's still a tough road from here, especially even if you make it to the grand finals. You don't have that veto advantage.
Nope.
But they applied so much pressure in this series because of their strong map pool. You think about the pressure that was applied just straight from the map veto. When we knew that this was going to Haven as the decider map, and Loud are already on a 10-map win streak on Haven, haven't lost in a year, looking dominant with the Harbor Viper, the pressure was on Fnatic right from the very beginning.
You're absolutely right, and I think a lot of us were discussing that it was going to be a couple of factors, changes in the pistol conversions, the bonus rounds, all the external factors to maybe even up that veto that was going to be an issue for Fnatic there. And I've got to give credit again to the preparation alone. That split game sent the fear of God through Fnatic. I mean, the second they've worked out Alpha, the second they've worked out Chronicle like that, something that was a stronghold for them, and Loud come out in full preparation, you know you've got an uphill struggle to say the least.
Off the back of Loud bombing out in Tokyo.
0-2.
Yeah.
0-2.
0-2, looking like they were in horrible form individually, drama surrounding the team, them having to refute it all and say, no, we're still a family, we're still sticking together. And I think a lot of people would have assumed coming out of the upper bracket win for Loud, oh, it's just a fluke. It's just Loud having a good day, less turned up. Fnatic, they're super consistent. I'm sure they'll be able to recover, but no, Loud double down and win the rematch as well, proving that they were the better team here towards the end of the year. Resoundingly, emphatically, no way of denying it.
Yeah, the proof truly in the results here throughout this series. Loud should be incredibly proud of what they've achieved. Not many people can say that they have bested Fnatic in good form. Not many people can say that they've forced them into uncomfortable maps to change those vetoes into, as said, unfavorable scenarios.
Only 2 teams have beaten this Fnatic super team roster.
Yep.
And one of them's Loud, who've done it twice.
What an exceptional series this was. And we have to hear from the players themselves. Down with Doug.
Welcome to the Rise of post-match interview. I'm standing by with Sadak, IGL of Loud, after you managed to take down Fnatic again. Now, it's hard to take a team like Fnatic down once, but you guys managed to do it twice in the same tournament. How?
I mean, I don't know. I think my team is just different. They are amazing people. I don't know, they're really talented.
Talk to me about, from the very beginning, let's go back to the map pick and ban process. Did you feel like that was an advantage towards you guys? You were playing a couple maps that you'd already played, like Ascent. Did you feel like it went your way, or what were your thoughts after that went down?
I'm going to be honest, when I saw it was going to be split Ascent and what was Heaven, I thought, okay, we have a really good chance because there are really strong maps. Split, we understand a lot. So, yeah, I was feeling really happy.
All right, we got to talk about the crowd in the room right now. You've got a group of people sitting up in the stands who have been chanting nonstop this entire series. Tell me about what that's like for you, having relocated to Americas. You've been here for the last couple of months, and now you're playing on the biggest stage Valorant has to offer, and you've got a deep fan crew rolling with you. What's that like for you?
Well, it's been a really challenging season for us, moving away from home, playing here, away from Brazil, away from the family. But thank God we have such amazing fans here to make sure that doesn't bother. So yeah, I mean, it's been really challenging, but thank God we have them. We have all the people at home also sending their energy, and we're just feeling really good.
All right, you and I, we've spent a lot of time together this year, and one of the things that often comes up when we chat is the youth of your team. You guys, I think I saw a graphic today, you guys are probably the youngest or average second youngest team out of anyone here in the tournament. Now, for you, you've been to the top, right? And it's been with different rosters, and you've lived a lot in this year, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Given that the tournament is not yet over, what would you say is the biggest difference in the Loud that we saw in Brazil to the Loud that we're seeing today?
Well, I would say we have to do the age for sure, because we used to have two experienced players that play internationally, and now we have a bunch of kids who just want to have fun, shoot. So that's the main difference. Other than that, I think we're pretty similar because the base is still the same, right? So yeah, I would say that. Luckily we find two amazing people like Clutches, and they're amazing with a lot of aim.
Well, and the last thing I want to press on you a little bit more before we let you go is how have you seen the team mature, right? How have you seen them grow? Because again, there's a lot of youth on your roster.
Yes. Well, it's been a ride, to be honest, yes. Like at the beginning, they didn't even know how to communicate, how to use the abilities properly. Every time they entered the stage, they were nervous in a way, but right now, after a lot of tournaments, a lot of sessions with our psychologist also, we managed to overcome that. The thing you see right now is their best version.
You still have a little bit of tournament to go, but yeah, it seems like you guys are peaking again at the right time. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've managed to stay alive, you managed to take down Fnatic, and you've managed to take us to the end of this interview.
What a series that was, a performance from Loud. They didn't just get their revenge, they managed to be the only team this year to do that to Fnatic and Mimi, eliminate them. It's gotta feel good if you're a Loud fan.
Especially after what happened earlier this year, from 11-3 at lock and a moment away from winning in front of their home crowd, losing there, and then bombing out of Tokyo to come back here at Champions to eliminate Fnatic, the team that everyone is considering the best in the world, and to proceed into the top 3 is a huge moment for this Loud squad.
Not only that, the team that knocked them down in there, right? Like, they actually pushed Fnatic into the lowers, made sure they got tested by a lot of opponents, but unfortunately, you know, today we said it, dreams have to end one way or another for either side of these squads, and today it was Loud they get to live on their dream, right, of trying to go for that back-to-back title run for Champions, defending that title on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic might still have those trophies. Nobody can take those away from them, but getting back-to-back Champions wins, Loud still very much on that course. It feels like every single player very much back on the horse here. This is not the Loud that we were seeing on the back end of Americas, on, you know, going into Tokyo where they've, you know, got 2-0'd by EG. Yeah. This is a very different looking squad. This is Aspas all over the place. Sonic even fragging out of control. This is a terrifying Loud.
And they are in great form on a lot of these maps as well with their approach, I think, beyond just the individuals. They had some great ideas on Split. The retakes were on point, the trap plays they could set up, and also just countering Fnatic, punishing out for your setups. Then we go to map 3, and it's the Flood retakes with this Harbor Viper composition. Loud has proved that they have a really deep map pool, that they can adapt to a lot of different team styles, and that's so valuable this late in the tournament.
Yeah, we talk about all day that somebody needs to step up, and that guy was Aspas. At lock-in, we saw what he could do. Tokyo, bit of a dip here, but Bren, prime form Aspas is so so scary.
Yeah, that's prime Gira Aspas right there. I mean, the guy went nuts towards the end. An absolute raid boss, the final boss, if you will. And yeah, we were kind of expecting as well, you know, for that Jet head-to-head to really manifest towards map 2, map 3. But Aspas just took over, man. He took over. There was non-starters on the Fnatic side. And when Aspas is pulling off stuff like that, I mean, you can understand why Jet's getting nerfed next patch.
I mean, it was just round after round of him just going up, putting up 3Ks. You know, it just if he was alive, it felt like the round was very possible to win, no matter what odds he was stacked up against. This was just a star-studded, classic legacy performance here, as people like to say, from Aspas. And if he can continue to put up figures like this, then, oh, God help you, EG.
And I think that for Aspas as well, this reflects like the greater improvement that Loud has had as a team, not just him as an individual, right? They fall off at Tokyo, they struggled there, even struggle early here in Champions. Remember, they lost their opening game. People thought it was going to be the same deal as Tokyo, but they rallied all the way back, and an Aspas who has struggled in his last few events came out here into the playoffs, into finals weekend, and is hitting the form that they won Champions with last year, that they won VCT Americas with this year. This is the Aspas Loud needs if they want to go back to back.
Oh, the top 3 is so good. It is so good. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Fnatic, of course. I don't think the way that many people expected them to go out, but looking at what they've achieved this year, despite maybe not cementing that dynasty, Brent, they broke records. They were the super team that we were expecting.
They got the back-to-back title, you know, players like Chronicle really cemented as well in terms of the amount of titles they were able to bring. And I think it highlights as well, you know, how magical it would have been if the three-peat happened, but there's a reason we talk about it like it is just some ridiculous concept, like it's a fairy tale, and it's because it gets so much harder. It is so hard to do in sports across the board to try and get, you know, dominance across an entire season like Fnatic were trying to aim for. And I think they can be, you know, with a bit of hindsight, to look back at this moment and be glad that they made a deep push into champs. They got their 2 titles as well. They're going to be wishing, of course, they threw it all the way, and he's throwing it back as well on the screen. But it's for Fnatic as well. There's a hard lesson to be learned, right? When you end up winning those titles back to back, it only gets harder from that point on. You have always got a target on your back, and it showed today, I think, with Loud's clear preparation across the board.
Yeah, when you're on top, it's so hard to stay in that position. I think we saw Fnatic's map will be abused in the playoffs of this tournament in particular, showing some weakness there. And right now, this has got to sting for these guys. It's got to feel awful, because this is where your year ends. You have a long off season to prepare for before going back next year for EMEA, but they have achieved so much for this squad. They defined the meta in a lot of ways this year. They had some of the greatest individual performances from all 4 of their players, proved that they truly are a super team, and everyone will remember them as the first team that had a back-to-back, but they won't be remembered as a dynasty.
For sure. I mean, the dynasty, it dies here today. Unfortunately, they can't bring it all the way for that 3rd trophy, but you still have to give them so much credit for this year and what they were able to put together. This does suck. This does sting, and it will continue to sting throughout the entire offseason. But the beginning, getting that win at lock-in, getting that first trophy out of the way, that you can't take that away from them, but you can take them out of the tournament.
I mean, the rest of this tournament, though, even with Fnatic on, is going to be insane. We have an EG versus Loud rematch, a matchup that was so good back in America, that we've seen globally before, and they have to face Paper Rex in the finals either way. That's insane.
Yeah, I wonder if EG are going to be the villains here going up against Loud as well. If that's the vibes that they're going to be carrying on with.
I mean, I think that they're going to do it, but, you know, like we saw from Paper X, if you try to talk back, if you try to PM in the game, that can rally them back, that can make them angry, and that can get them sniping your head round over round. I mean, overall, Loud, they have the head-to-head, 2 wins, 1 loss. That was the most recent one over at Tokyo where they looked out of form. EG, fast turnaround, they have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's it for us. We have our top 3 now coming up tomorrow. We will be showing you guys that lower bracket final between EG and Loud. The winner, of course, will move on to Saturday's grand finals against Paper X. This is the biggest VALORANT event of the year for a reason, and you don't want to miss it. We'll have an hour-long pre-show with a ton of surprises, the gold carpet, musical performances, did someone say? And so much more. And that does it for us. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow and we'll see you there. But before you go, be sure to check out our Prime Gaming end of day highlights, and we'll see you tomorrow.
It's a rematch from Masters Tokyo, but this time a shot at glory is on the line and a trip to the grand final awaits. We're about to witness a war in Inglewood.
But for both these squads, this is the match that could win you champions. If you get to the grand finals, get that veto advantage. It's just 1 step away.
Oh, to the side, finds one, but then Mind Freak answers back. The swing just comes in and Mind Freak just plays off the timing. Divide down to 34. Busio guns him out. A two-piece for him. The swing onto the corner. Come gets the transfer. Ends up going down. Divide going to be traded. Looks like he spots a pixel. And Jongamo now brings this into a somewhat winnable position if Calm can try to clutch it out. Can he make the transition? Yes, he can! A slow start for him, but an explosive finish to get EG their map 1 win. He's going to linger just to see if there's any additional pressure, but Jing into the back ends up getting gunned down as Calm will be able to find a second as well. Now on to the flawless, and they will find it.
Make sure they had him pushed out.
Oh, the timing. Forsaken. Gets the follow-up on the Busio. Something. No way. Yes! No way! Gets the knife into the back and twists it. Do they expect the Vive guard? And the answer is going to be yes, but he still comes up with 3. What is that spray? 13-9. Paper X rally back on their map. Pick a bind, and they take us the distance once again. Off the back of his own flash. Ends up getting gunned down, but Mind Freak! 1, 2, 3. Shuts them down. Damage coming through. Domo now has the backstab. Jing going to be taken out of the fray, and Jongamo just swinging forward. Now Divide dead. The swing out, and Jongamo with a monstrous round. Wow. Nebula going to be popped. Recon Dart moving forward. Divide holding the angle here from Art. Comes up with 2 clean kills. Now gets a 3rd, and they stretch it again. Looking to play entry. The spam across. Takes him low. Finds one. Gets a dig. And the transfer comes in. 15-3. A 2-1 victory. Paper X. They advance into the grand finals.
Loud, they were denied by Fnatic at lock-in. They've got their revenge already here in the upper bracket, which means today is going to be the final showdown. The score will be settled right here, right now inside the Kia Forum. And what a way for us to see these two teams go head-to-head in an elimination match.
Cowan creeping closer in the smoke. Loud taking them away. A triple for Cowan. Leo falls first. Great trade from Chronicle, but the kills down to the 1v1. Sanak and Boaster, the great IGLs, and it's Sanak! Reading them so well and leading by example. Oh, it's coming in. Boaster denies Sanak. Flying in though, it's Aspas. Trade there for less, and the 1v1 less. Loud claim map 1, pushing Fnatic further away from that triple. This is becoming a disaster. 28 HP. Where's the support? It's gone. Someone needs to check on him. Someone has to stop him. He's defusing. Booster keeping Fnatic alive so far.
Just a sexy boy.
Not your boy, toy.
Oh dear, look at the aggression on this. Aspas is looking, and Leo's got him.
Big damage,
Big damage, yeah. Hold on.
They line up for him.
They've got to get moving towards the site. Durka. Operator singing. We're going the distance. Map 3. Fnatic finally coming alive, Mike. And now down to just Boaster. And I say just, it's the 2 IGLs again. And he gets the defuse. Keep Fnatic at arm's length. And Aspas is breaking their back. And Durka is coming alive. Tui's. Oh my God, Tui's. What a clutch. It's been 173 days since Fnatic broke Brazil's hearts. And now vengeance is served.
Revenge, I'm sure, definitely tastes sweeter twice over as well.